I'm going to lose 7 years of life from this series.
That was game what? Game 2 of how many? 7? God, but that's for the cup, right? That's for round 1? Of how many? Good. 4? 4? 4 rounds of this if we want to win it all?
Oh, Weston, how could you act like that was nerve-wracking? You won by 3 goals. It was 5-2.
You know when I felt confident in the win? When Frank Vetrano scored to make it 5-2. That's when I finally started to relax a little bit.
Oh man, I forgot to oh yeah, the intro. Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Rangers. I'm here to talk about game 2 of the first round against the Penguins, where the Rangers win 5-2. Okay, there's a lot to talk about. There are 7 goals. There's some storylines. There's officiating that we're going to talk about. I'm going to save that for the end of it. But going into it, right? Going into the game, the story is Igor Shesterkin shines in game 1. 79 saves, and it wasn't enough. So you come into game 3. It's now the third-string goaltender for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Louis Domingo is starting. And if you're the Rangers, the general consensus is if you lose this game, don't bother going to Pittsburgh. The series is pretty much over. If you go down 2-0 to the backup goaltender, the third-string goaltender, and that's not to take shots at Louis Domingo. He is infinitely better than I will ever be. I'm just pointing it out that this is their third-string goaltender, and if you lose this game, we're done here. But the Rangers don't lose. They score first. Andrew Kopp gets us on the board to make it 1-0. A goal pretty darn similar to the goal in game 1. All Andrew Kopp has done as a Ranger is produce. It's been fantastic. Again, like I said, eerily similar, and Artemi Panarin with a really nice setup for Andrew Kopp for this play. Artemi Panarin just has this neato thing that he does, called whenever he has the puck, everyone else forgets that other players exist. And that happened here. Sets him up, beautiful slapper, scores, it's 1-0 Rangers. And the moment, if your trust wasn't already shattered in the Rangers after game 1, this is where all of my trust flew out the window. My trust was already starting to fly around. When you have your windows down in a car and you got a stack of napkins in the driver or in the passenger seat because, you just have napkins from going through the drive-thru, Chick-fil-A napkins just stacked in the passenger seat. And they're starting to move around. You're like, oh, that's not very good. And then you randomly get 2 miles an hour more than you were going and the napkins fly out the window. That was my trust. What the hell was that analogy? No, the tires have already come off. We're going forward, right? So your trust is already gone in the Rangers. And then this goal happens, right? You score first. You're up. You have the confidence. The building's buzzing. And then Jake Gensel gets this goal where you can't leave him that wide open. Many people did things wrong. Artemi Panarin just did not play defense on this play. I love Artemi Panarin. He just did not play defense. Keandre Miller didn't pick a thing. He had to either take the pass or take the shooter. He did neither. He just kind of stood there like a statue. I love Keandre Miller. I'd take a bullet for him, but you can't do that. You got to pick a thing. And Igor Shesterkin sort of wasn't great on this play because when he moved, he lifted up the pads and left the ice surface just completely wide open for Gensel to score. There were many people at fault, and it's now 1-1, and you just go, are you holy crapping serious? But it's not, all hope is not lost, because you go to the second period, and the Rangers take a 2-goal lead. We have a lead, right? Ryan Strome, clapper from Adam Fox that Strome tips in to make it 2-1 Rangers. Awesome, that's on the power play. Then, Chris Kreider on a blast from Frank Vetrano tips it in, and the Rangers have a 2-goal lead. Kreider, his second goal of the playoffs. He is just continuing to be a monster in front of the net. Chris Kreider is ridiculous. But alas, under a minute and a half to play in the period, Sidney Crosby is Sidney Crosby, and it is sickening how good he is. He scores, it's 3-2 Rangers, and you start to have more napkins fly out the window. And I'm sorry, Ranger. If any Rangers fans were like, oh, I felt confident going into... No, you didn't! You know what I felt like? Horrified! I felt horrified! I go into the third, I'm like, we lost the momentum with the Crosby goal. And the first shift in the third by the Penguins, amazing. Shesterkin makes a few ridiculous saves in the first minute of the third period to keep it a 1-goal lead for the Rangers. But you go into, they're buzzing, they are flying around the ice, and it seems inevitable that they're going to tie it up. But by a miracle, they don't. In the third, 8 in, Artemi Panarin carries the puck into the offensive zone. He goes behind the net. He tries to put a pass out because Artemi Panarin loves to pass the puck. That is all he does is pass the puck. And he's so good at passing the puck that he scores a goal on a pass. It bounces off of Matheson, and it goes in. That is a back-breaking goal for the Penguins, and that's obviously not on Domingo at all. But the Rangers score, and now it's 4-2. I still didn't feel confident because there was 12 minutes left, and it's only a 2-goal lead, and it's the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they can just pull goals out of absolutely nowhere. Thankfully, a little bit after the Panarin goal, Frank Vetrano, who also, as a Ranger, since coming in at the deadline, has done nothing but produce a gorgeous snipe on Louis Domingo. That was beautiful by Frank Vetrano to make it 5-2 Rangers, which would be the final score. And now, let's talk about the officiating and the Igor Shesterkin and Jeff Carter incident. Brief rundown. Everyone saw it. You've all seen it. Everyone has seen it by now. Igor Shesterkin plays the puck behind the net, passes it to, I believe it was Jacob Trouba. He heads back to the front of the net. Jeff Carter comes over, and they collide. And now, I'm going to say something, and I'm hoping, right, because I know actually quite a few Penguins fans were here for Game 1's video, and you guys were all super chill. So hopefully, from that, you can tell I'm not a overtly biased Rangers fan. I'm going to say things honestly. Neither of them are at fault for this. And I feel like I'm actually going to make the most people mad by not blaming a person for this. But you watch it, neither of them did anything wrong, but also they were both kind of also not doing anything right. Igor Shesterkin plays the puck, and then heads back to the front of the net. Jeff Carter flies in. Both of them could have avoided contact. Neither of them chose to. Igor could have moved out of the way a bit. Jeff Carter easily could have moved out of the way. They decided not to, and they collide. Now, I gotta emphasize this. I'm sick and tired of people basing opinions on plays of whether they're dirty or clean on the .0005 speed, replay of it. Watch it in real time. If you watch this in real time, and you try to say, oh no, that was definitely Igor Shesterkin trying to trip Jeff Carter, you are out of your freaking mind. If you watch it in real time and say Jeff Carter was trying to do anything, you are out of your freaking mind. Igor is not looking at Jeff Carter. And guess what? Jeff Carter also really isn't looking at Igor Shesterkin. They're both trying to get an eye on the puck. Igor wants to know where the puck is because he knows it's being played out from behind the net. Jeff Carter knows, hey, the puck is going to be played out. I have to go around the net because of where I'm already at. So if I want any chance to make a play on the puck, I got to go quick. The quickest way to any location is a straight line. Jeff Carter tries to take the straightest line, and they bump into each other. There was no intent by either player to initiate contact, and there was also no attempt by either player to avoid the contact. I also think, totally overrated thing, I'm not sure if you guys know this about hockey, it's played at 1,000 miles an hour on a slippery surface made of ice, and you're wearing knife shoes. Neither of them were trying to be dirty. Neither of them were dirty. Whenever a play like this happens, we always have to pick a villain. There is no villain. Sometimes accidents happen. That's what this was. It was an unfortunate collision. Neither of them were dirty. Neither of them were trying to pull something. It's the final, couple minutes of a game that's one team is up by 3 goals. Neither of them are trying to pull it here. And now officiating at large, because some Penguins fans were really mad that there was a penalty on this play. That was what cost them the game. No, you guys were down by 3 goals with under 4 to play here. That is not what cost you the game. If this came, halfway through the third, or, before the Panarin goal, and we were up by only 1, or it was a tie game, and then we get a power play, and we score on the power play to get the game winner, then I can understand why you might have been a little upsetty spaghetti. However, that isn't when it came. I saw a lot of Penguins fans mad about the officiating, and I saw a bunch of Rangers fans mad about the officiating. And I would say the same thing to both of you. Give your heads a shake! The Penguins got away with a lot of stuff tonight that just didn't get called. Dirty hits, trips, cross-checks, all of it. The Rangers got away with a lot of cross-checks and late hits. Both teams got away with a lot of stuff and got away with egregious penalties that were not called. And I mean this as mean as I can say it to everyone who was watching the game, who's watched any game. You guys are kind of dumb. Hockey fans, as a whole, are just dumber than a sack of rocks, and I'm included in that. I'm in that group. I'm calling myself dumb. I'm not singling anyone out. We're all in it together, right? One big, happy, stupid family of dumb sacks of rocks. We're all in it. Because every single year, we watch the playoffs and are all somehow astonished that the officiating is still bad. For the, How long has the NHL been like over 100 years at this point? Every single time, we are still the child who is freaked out by the game of peekaboo, and the game of peekaboo isn't a game of peekaboo, it's horrific officiating in the postseason. Every year, murder is made legal in the playoffs, and every year, hockey fans are like, wow, I can't believe it. I thought this was gonna be the year we finally got it ironed out. No. The officiating is gonna be bad. It's always been bad. It will always be bad in the postseason until a massive change happens, and I don't think it's gonna happen. Like, people are trying to call the Rangers dirty, people are trying to call the Penguins dirty. And hey, you know what? Maybe both of them are. So are the Capitals, so are the Panthers, so are the Avalanche, so are the Preds, so is every single team in the playoffs right now, because everyone knows you can get away with late hits, you can get away with cross-checks, you can get away with everything. It's the playoffs. Stop being surprised. Sorry, can you tell that this game had me fired up? It had me fired up. I'm gonna age a solid 7 or 8 years by the time this series is over. Yeah, first line looked pretty good. Mika didn't get any goals, and I mean, first line was just flying all night. They had some chances, you know. Mika got robbed a few times. Side note, like Louis Domingo, I know he gave up 5 goals. Man, he held them in. He's been incredible to start this, or for his 2 games. He's been absolutely magnificent. Like it's incredible what he's been able to do. Absolutely robbed Mika on that one play in the first period. Would have made it 2-0 Rangers. Like, that was a crazy good glove save. By the way, if he's not a lefty, that's probably a goal. Like, if that's the blocker, I don't know. But he was incredible. But like, Mika got robbed a few times. The first line looked pretty darn solid. The second line looked pretty good with Kopp and Panarin. Strome looked good also. Granted, his goal was on the power play, but they looked good as a line tonight. The defense left some to be desired. Nemeth, horrific cross-check call. Just, buddy, you're the veteran on the defensive core. I don't know how you're the veteran on the defensive core, but you're called the veteran. You can't be doing that kind of stuff. Prerequisite, Igor Shesterkin was absolutely ridiculous. 39 saves on 41 shots, and this is his light workload for the postseason. It's game 2, everybody. Yeah, I think this is the most heated I've been in a video that I've made for certainly for hockey. I got pretty mad at the Astros during the World Series last year, but as far as hockey videos, this has got to be the most heated I've been. I was a game 2. This series is a war, man. It is an absolute war. 5-2 does not tell you how this game went. This was a close game. This was a close, well-fought game by both teams. Game 3 is Saturday, 7 p.m. It moves to Pittsburgh for Game 3, so that's gonna be interesting. And I'll be here afterwards to talk about it. So that's all I have to say for the evening. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Rangers.